And Anbernic are back with another H7 quad-core chip device, and this time around, it's probably going to be the most ergonomical and the most comfortable of the H7 quad-core chip series of devices. This is the Anbernic RG Cubexx XX. So this is their more budget-friendly version of the original RG Cube, which had a much more powerful processor. You could play up to PS2 and GameCube and all of that. This is a cheaper alternative. So you're not going to get that level of gameplay out of this device, nowhere near it. However, things up to PS1 are going to run practically perfectly. It can play Dreamcast, PSP, N64. You may need to do a little bit of tweaking on that. This is just going to be a great combination of comfort and a great display, giving you all you need in terms of longevity and longer gameplay sessions. Also, it's still quite portable to a point. I'm not going to complain that there are so many of these XX devices that are out there, purely because we've got much more variety to choose from, especially down to what your specific gaming needs are. Shout out to Ross from Retro Gamecore. If it wasn't for him getting involved, we probably wouldn't have this one right here. Or maybe we would, I don't know, but thanks anyway. Not to mention a massive community behind all of this as well, with all of the various custom firmwares. It won't be long before MuOS is on this as well, which I've heard is a really good firmware to have on these particular devices, enhancing a little bit more with performance and the way that it looks. Another thing I want to mention is, due to the fact that Anbernic have had so many of these devices out, it makes it for a much more efficient and seamless pick up and play element out of the box. You can just pick this up even without custom firmware. You can pick it up out of the box and it will run near perfectly anyway for all of the systems that it does have. Big screen. So let's talk specs, starting with the price. So on the website, it's saying that you can pick it up from what, 59.99 USD. The original price will be 69.99 USD. There's also a coupon on the website as well. Not to mention that there's a strong chance that this price of device is going to probably go down a little bit more in the future anyway. But yeah, the coupon will give you an extra $7 off upon me recording this video and watching this. You got three colors, black, gray, and white. As you can see, I've got the white one and it looks clean and crispy as hell. The display, 3.95, we'll just call it 4-inch IPS screen, OCA full lamination, 720 by 720, meaning 1:1 or 1:1 ratio around the screen, which is great. Perfect for all of those older retro titles or older retro systems such as your SNES, your Game Boy. All of those systems are going to run and look beautiful on this display. The CPU is the H7 quad-core ARM Cortex A53 at 1.5 GHz frequency. GPU, dual-core G31 MP2. The RAM you have in here is LPDDR4 1 gig. Storage, 32 GB from the SD card slot. So that will be the base and entry-level one. So obviously the cheaper the price, which would mean SD card at 32 gig, which will only contain the firmware, you won't get any games on that. Obviously, if you went to then 64 or 128 or 256, that's when you're going to get your games. So keep that in mind with the price. Also to mention around the price, 59.99 USD, and then you've got to think about your shipping as well, which will be on top of that. So keep that in mind. We already know the systems that are supported. I'll give you a quick rundown of that now. So Wi-Fi and Bluetooth enabled. Yes, Bluetooth is 4.2, Wi-Fi is 2.4 5G. You've got a bunch of languages here, high fidelity speakers. All right, let's talk TF card slots. So you've got two SD card slots. The first one being for the firmware, the second one being for the expansion, and that will go up to a 512. The battery is a 3800 mAh, lasting around 6 to 5 hours, and I think that that's great, and that's more than enough time for you to play your games. Obviously dependent upon the systems. The lower the system, the better that's going to run, or the longer that's going to run on the battery. So let's talk charging. 5 volts, 1.5 amp, and it supports C2C charging. One thing around charging, do not use your high speed chargers or your fast chargers. Use them old ones that you've probably got gathering dust in the cupboard somewhere, and use one of those old school chargers. Or better yet, to keep safe, just plug it into your PC and let it charge from there. If you want to have a look at the specs in more detail, just hit the link in the description below and it will take you straight to it. Let's have a look around the device.
So we got that beautiful and crisp, almost 4-inch display right here. And I don't remember seeing a screen protector in the box, but it seems to already have one either installed or it's just the way that the screen is, which is handy for me because those things really are fiddly anyway. But the display looks great and it's vibrant and it's clean. On the front right hand side of the device, we have the action buttons, your analog stick and your start and select. The A, B and X, Y buttons, they're set in there with a membrane setting and there's a decent amount of travel to them. They're squishy, but they feel nice. I like the texture of them as well. And just pressing them, they just feel pretty comfortable. They're okay, they're fine. So on the left, you've got your D-pad, you've got your analog stick, and you've got your menu button. Let's focus on the D-pad though. It's really comfortable. It moves freely in all directions. Not to mention it is quite similar to how the Sega Saturn or the Mega Drive D-pad feels as well. Fluid, no issues, great amount of movement, and it's gonna probably do really well when it comes to those fireballs or your Dragon Punch moves. Again, you've got your start, your select at the bottom in there. You've also got the menu button. Those are nice and clicky, maybe a bit too clicky, but they feel just fine anyway. You're not going to be spending a lot of time just pressing those buttons repeatedly anyway. And you've got your analog sticks. I don't know, maybe it's because it's white on white where the analog sticks match the color of the shell. It really does make these RGBs that is set inside of really pop. The colors come out really bright and really vibrant. In terms of movement, it wouldn't be as good as say the RG406V, but let's just consider the price point on there. I don't think it's gonna compromise your gameplay as per se, but I mean it will get the job done and it's enough anyway. So along the bottom here, you've got your two downward firing speakers on either side. You've got your TF1 slot. This is where your firmware goes. You got your headphone jack, and then you got your TF2 for your expandable memory where all your games would usually go as well. Along the top side of the device, you've got your trigger buttons, your R1, your R2 on the right, your L1, your L2 on the left. You got your power switch, your volume rocker, your USB Type-C charging port. You got your reset button there, and also you've got your HDMI out, which this HDMI out is not on the original RG Cube, but it is on this one. So upon powering your device, you are greeted with the Anbernic firmware that's on here, and this time around it doesn't look bad. I like the blue on there. It's quite nice and it makes it pop, and I think because of that it does come across as a little bit more refined than on some of the original devices or the devices before it, as you can see here. I mean, it doesn't look bad over here, but on this, it does look clean, giving you a nice, easy pick up and play straight out of the box experience, which that's something that we like. So you've got your game rooms, you've got your RA games, which everybody prefers to launch games from, and that's fine. You've got your app center in here. You've got your favorites that you can assign your favorite games to. You've got your history here. You've got your search feature here. You just type in the game and you'll find it. And you've got your settings. Within settings, you've got a bunch of stuff like system information, how long you want your lock screen. You've got your backlight, your controller testing. You've got your LED settings, which is very cool. So you can change it. So at the moment, it's on multicolor rainbow. You got monochronic. Actually, let me just dim the lights a little bit for this little bit here. Hold on. Is that helping? Nah, try this. There we go. That is a bit wild. That looks a bit crazy. Double joystick chasing, so you can see here it's chasing it around. You got your simulator, your phantom, so I'm assuming that is more active when you're in game. You got your breathing light, so it sort of pulsates a little bit. More of that again with a medium speed. Then you've got it in fast as well. And then you've got always mode, whatever that is. So there's that as well. Within here, within the settings as well, you can shut your device down, which is what I prefer to do. You can reboot, you can clear your records, custom buttons. You can do a bunch of stuff in here. For those of you that are new, there's a lot to mess around with. And for those that already know it, you kind of know the deal already. let's just jump into some gameplay. I'm not going to talk a great deal here, but I will say, look, out of the box, maybe with N64 and some of your heavier systems like PSP and Dreamcast, you're probably going to need a bit of tweaking here and there. But let's just see how they run anyway.
Yo, Tubbs, what's up? That was Castillo. You remember Freddie Louise? Full-time Freddie? Hey, used to be a confidential informant for the department.
So yeah, I'm going to leave it right there. Guys, the RG Cubexx XX, you're getting bang for your buck for sure. Super ergonomic. That 1:1 screen ratio is a great addition to this XX lineup of devices as well. Yeah, there's not much to not like about this thing. RGBs, it might not be everybody's preference, but I don't mind it myself. I mean, the list goes on. Guys, questions, comments, and concerns, leave them below. I hope you liked the video. Take care, stay safe, and peace.